You're listening to Power Talk, Berkeley Electric Cooperative's official broadcast about the cooperative, our communities, and ways to use energy wisely. And now, let's join our hosts for today's episode. Good morning and welcome to Power Talk. I'm Micah Ponce, the Communications and Media Specialist here at Berkeley Electric Cooperative. And as always, we are joined by Ms. Libby Roig, the Director of Marketing and Communication.
Good morning, Micah.
Good morning. And of course,
the
third member of our team.
Morning.
He's here probably just as much as we are, almost at this point. Mr. Eddie Plowden, the Director of Energy Services. Welcome again to the show, sir.
Thank you, Micah and Libby. Great to be here.
Yeah, and
Good morning.
Eddie, the reason you're here so frequently is because you have so much valuable information to share with our members and really just the public in general. I mean, a lot of these tips, even if you don't have service with Berkeley Electric, or things you can do in your home. But
Yeah, true. I'm sure our energy tips, people can even, in the community, not even Berkeley Electric Cooperative members can use those and learn about savings on smart thermostats or, saving energy in your home.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us again, taking time out of your busy schedule, helping our members.
Glad to be here. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Well, Eddie is just one member of our energy services team. So, Eddie, folks are probably fairly familiar with you and what you do. So, just a quick recap, but then give us a little bit of an idea of what our energy team does for the members.
Our energy services team, think about Berkeley Electric. We provide electricity to our members, and we want to be the energy experts, for our members. And that's what our team does. Our energy services team wants to be able to be here as a resource for our members to answer questions, whether they be, high utility bills, electric bills. How should I invest in my house as far as energy efficiency? How do I make my home more energy efficient? What should I buy? These people are telling me to buy, X heating and air or even solar PV. Turn to Berkeley Electric Cooperative's Energy Services team to help you with those answers.
Right. We want to be your source for reliable power and information.
Yeah, and it's not just about saving energy, which we love when our members do that. It's about making your house comfortable. If you've got a humidity issue in your home, we can help you, ferret that out and fix it. And when the humidity is back to where it needs to be, it's not only better for the health of your family and your home, but also for your comfort.
Yep. And of course, the humidity's dropping now. We're getting into the fall and the winter season.
Yeah.
So humidity's dropping. Another
maybe
thing's
for a few
happening
days.
too.
I was about to say, humidity might be dropping, but we're getting more rain. So, it sort of balances out a little bit. There's still moisture in the air one way or the other, but I guess it's not quite as bad getting into your house that way.
It is the low country.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I guess at the end of the day, what the Energy Services team does is it, basically helps make your house a home. Like you said, make it more livable, more comfortable, and hopefully helps you save a little bit of money so you can, do all those home improvements things and make it more comfortable and make it the home you want to be in all the time. We've got, a whole team, like we had mentioned, of certified experts. There's, of course, the big thing that we do is we, try to help our members understand why we have higher bills, which is really tied into higher energy use for the most part. Can you explain a little bit more about, why we see the higher use or unexpected spikes and that type of stuff?
We do. We partner with our billing team to look for anomaly bills. These are outrageously high bills, and we try to proactively contact our members and get in touch with them. And because Berkeley Electric Cooperative has invested in hourly data and our metering system to be able to review and compare kilowatt-hour use with the weather, the temperature outside, we use that to help our members solve those high bill problems.
Yeah. So about half of our annual energy use is going to be heating and cooling our homes. So that's why the weather makes an impact, is because, as it gets super hot or super cold, then our system's going to be running more and therefore using more energy, which means our bills go up.
Yeah, and of course that's the average. If your home is poorly insulated, your unit's not working properly, you got an inefficient system, it's going to be even way more than that as far as percentage. So we want to help you.
Yeah. So Eddie, all of us are of an age where our parents fussed at us about leaving the lights on when we left a room.
My wife still fusses about that.
Oh, every day when I leave my house after my husband and my son, I am the light patrol. I just walk through the house shutting everything off as I leave because nobody else can apparently. But anyway, but so are lights driving up our bills?
If you're going with, and of course we recommend the LED, lights, which is 1/5 the use of the old incandescent bulbs. That's not really the driver on your power bill. I mean, it's not the your power strip or those things do add to your bill, but and they're easy things to do.
Yeah.
But the big heating and air conditioning, how much volume of water you used to use as far as hot water. That's a big one. You can. Of course, I can do the math, and we can calculate when we talk about, how much per shower is going to cost.
It's too early in the morning for math.
So
Eddie,
that you can see the meter just going as your young child or is taking that 30, 45-minute shower, and the meter's spinning.
Yeah.
That's the big use in members' homes is those key appliances.
So if you're looking to fuss at your roommates about their energy use, thermostat setting and how long their shower is are probably going to make the bigger difference, not leaving the living room light on.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, also one of the things that we talk about too is you just replace the 5 most high use bulbs in your home. We all know that there still have some incandescent bulbs out there, the old ones that we all grew up with, that use a lot of energy to create a lot of heat and as well as light, so they're not quite as efficient. So of course we always recommend either upgrading to I don't know if CFLs I think they're sort of they were that intermediate step technology,
right,
and now we're right on to LEDs. And so I mean, if they're a little bit more expensive than your regular incandescent bulbs, but they last probably about 10 times as long easily. And so just as a bulb burns out, just replace it with an LED, and get those 5 high use ones in your home, and then you really don't have to worry about leaving the lights on. Did you hear that, honey?
And that's why I don't fuss when I turn them all off, because I'm like, they're all LED bulbs. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, one of the things that I actually like to do is when I started, speaking of CFLs, back when we made the change over to that, is I would write the date when I installed it on the bulb, so I would know how long it lasted. And a matter of fact, I just changed out a CFL bulb that was, I think, from 2017 or so. So I mean, it's lasted a long time, and there was no reason to really change it out. I was just changing other bulbs, and I pulled it out and put an LED in its place. So I mean, it was still working just fine. So I mean, the new light bulbs, great technology, great way to slightly reduce your energy use. But I mean, like you said, every little bit counts, and every little bit helps.
Yep, and even the linear, you have like in your garage or some places it'll have like the 4-foot fluorescent bulbs, and then changing those out to LED. Like I changed mine out in 2017, so it's been 7 years, and all of them been working very, very well, since then. So it's long-term savings.
Well, the light quality of LED bulbs has dramatically improved since they first rolled out. I didn't even like the light quality from CFLs. I'm a big fan of incandescent, but
that warm glow.
Yeah.
And you can get that warm color.
Yeah, now you can with LED.
LED, yeah.
So.
We like the 3,000 to 2,500K. 2,500K is going to get down into the incandescent bulb.
With the math again.
Well, it's actually on the package. It'll say 3,000 and a little K, and so just look for that.
But
the higher numbers get more in the blue colors, and it gets kind of harsh. Yeah. So we recommend 3,000 to 4,000 K in your workspaces, in your kitchens, and those type places.
And, some lights, it has like a dial. You can change the setting based on your preference, or, when you're buying them. They've got all the examples out there. So lots and lots of options to meet your preference. And I know I like different types of light for depending on what I'm doing. In the kitchen, I like to be able to perform surgery. It's so bright there. Yeah. But in the living room, I like a warmer light. Yeah.
Well, before we got off track on all
On
things
light
lighting,
bulbs.
on light bulbs, we were talking a little bit about what we call our proactive billing program. So, I mean, that's where, like Eddie mentioned, we work in close conjunction with our billing department, and they run reports daily, basically, or hourly, or however, often they run those reports. They run them very frequently. And when they get those unusual spikes where we don't watch your bill every minute of the day, but when it spikes up, it'll throw a little alarm, and we'll take a look at it and say, hey, this doesn't look quite right. And when that happens, the energy services team will reach out. And I think you mentioned once before some of the common problems, but let's reiterate. I guess, what are the most common things that we're finding when we see a large spike in somebody's usage that's very unusual?
And, like we were talking about lighting, that's not it.
Right.
It's the major
They left their
appliances.
light on overnight,
It's your electric water heater. And I give like an example of electric water heater, spike. And you can, easily look at the hourly use and tell us a water heater, or one that's leaking. And we see water lines underneath homes that'll break. And then, one that I use as an example is, got a proactive high bill, contacted a member in Goose Creek, and said that their bill is high, and I believe it is a electric water heater line leak. And the members were, they're retired at the home, they're watching TV, and like the Berkeley Electric Cooperative calls them up and says, you have a high bill coming. So we don't have a leak. We have our plumbing is underneath the slab. Mm-hmm. And I talked through the member, and she went back to the laundry room and says, oh, there's a spot where my cat was just here on the slab, and the slab feels warm. So I thought it was a cat was there. No, ma'am, that's a leak of hot water underneath your slab.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were on our water heater low control program. Sent a plumber out there and checked it out and verified it was a leak in the system, and got them started out to repairing. So we're a partner with our members to try to hunt down those anomaly problems and help them solve them even before they get the bill.
So this proactive high bill program operates in the background. The members do nothing to sign up for it. I mean, it's just everybody's account. If it throws a spike, it alerts the billing department, who then alerts energy services. So it's kind of like billing puts the bat signal up, and you guys are Batman going out to fight energy spikes. But right,
I'll have my cape
you're a
on
superhero.
and
Yeah.
Berkeley cape.
So my question is, who's Robin in this scenario?
Josh.
Gosh.
Loretta's Batgirl.
Loretta's Batgirl.
She's Catwoman.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we're focused on stopping the bleeding, because these are homes and businesses, I suppose, that
small businesses. We will catch some of those offices or a restaurant or something.
Yes, something in their home is malfunctioning, and we're trying to stop future energy use. So instead of you getting your bill in the mail, 30 days later, and it's much larger than you would expect, we're giving you a call and saying, okay, let's flip the switch on this and figure out why you're using so much energy. But the members are still have to pay that for that energy use. We can't forgive it.
Right.
It's still kilowatt hours used, and
it's been used, so we consumed. So we need to collect the revenue for it, or our cost. We have cost on that. So
and actually, talking about billing in the billing department, you can almost have your own proactive program when you sign up for the prepaid billing.
Yeah.
Because prepaid billing, I mean, you're literally getting reports daily on how much electricity that you used each day. Yeah. So I mean, that's where we've actually seen a lot of comments from some of our members saying that how much they like that, because they will immediately be catching spikes in their electricity use, and they can either realize that, somebody adjusted the thermostat too high and I need to, bump it down a few degrees, or they can say, all right, there is something wrong. It's spiked up for several days now. I've tried everything. I need to reach out myself. So, I mean, it's a little combination of the two. Either you can do it yourself, and we're going to be out there watching for you as well. So
and you can also do it through the Smart Hub, and you can set up a limit, like a kilowatt hour maximum per day, and then it'll alert you about the high. Send you a text or send you an email, whatever you tell it Smart Hub to notify you. So
Well, and and utilities have, for most of their history, billed after you've used whatever the service is, and it can be difficult to think back to, oh yeah, it was really hot, or oh yeah, we did have 3-4 days of 20-degree temperatures. When you're 45 days later, it's hard to think back. So this immediate alert, if you're on prepaid or if you're checking out Smart Hub with any regularity, it's more recent and it's easier for you to remember, I think.
Yep. And there's, we're getting into the winter time. So, switching over from cooling to heating, we see problems with the electric heat running with the cooling system. And that's some of our season changeover proactive high bills, come in. And of course, also we see members will set the heat pump thermostat on the emergency heat instead of on automatic. And it's so important to make sure that heat pump is running and not on the electric resistive heat.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it brings up, we've had several energy services members over the years, and one of our former ones was Sam Gillens, and his famous line was, "Is gonna leak," talking about the electric water heater. At some point, it's gonna leak. And now we've got the new one, our Robin, Josh Lauder, and his famous one is "Heat's fighting the air, heat's fighting the air."
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've got these little catchphrases that pop up with each one of these guys. But so, I mean, we were talking, you're talking about, common problems we had. And of course, if you've listened to the show before, and, we go through the edition of This Old House with Mike Aponte, and we've actually had that water heater problem before, like you said, a line leaking. But I think in our case, it turned out to be some critter was underneath the house and chewed through the line, and water was spewing everywhere underneath the house, and then leading to higher electric bills. But I mean, so that's one of the common problems, and that's an example that we've shared. I mean, are there any others that you can think of off the top of your head where proactive billing has sort of really made a difference to one of our members?
Well, I mean, it even gets to, and instead of proactive, getting even to, energy auditing using the hourly information, because, basically we can look at the prior use, like prior year compared to this year, and do an energy audit very well using the weather and the characteristics of use if your unit is not working like it's supposed to, and try to help the member with, getting it repaired using one of our Home Advantage approved HVAC contractors to get it checked out and get it performing properly, or if it's got to be replaced completely, using our Home Advantage loan program to finance that at 5% interest and up to $20,000, for financing.
And I mean, you mentioned Smart Hub before, and I mentioned DIY. You can also do the same type of thing, through Smart Hub on your own. You can pull a year-end report for this year, and then you can actually go back and pull year-end reports for, like, say, a couple years prior to that, and you can get a nice little average and look at the average use for your home through the summer or through the winter, and you can tell if you're, on track or if something's sort of out of whack.
Yeah.
Yep.
And on the homepage of the Smart Hub app, it actually has the previous month compared to the previous month a year ago, and then the month prior. So you've got 3 months that you can just at a glance go, oh yeah, I'm on par to what I was using last year, or I'm a little over, under, and then to the month prior, of course.
Yep.
Well, if you're just now joining us, we're sitting down with Mr. Eddie Plowden, the Director of Energy Services here at Berkeley Electric Cooperative, and we've already run the gamut of our favorite light bulbs and proactive billing and how that helps out our members. But, we have an energy services team, but we also have an entire family of energy services that can help our members that go beyond proactive billing and, even beyond our Smart Hub, which gives you a lot of stuff that you can do to help, monitor your own energy use. I mean, that's because we know that your home is one of the biggest investments that you're ever going to make. And that's why our energy services, like I said, their team is going to be standing ready to assist you with a cornucopia, a plethora of energy services. So why don't we talk a little bit about some of the things that we do? You had mentioned energy audits, and we do virtual energy audits, and then we also do in-home energy audits as well. And generally, what does that look like? How long does it take? What does it consist of? And does it cost anything?
No, it doesn't cost anything as far as doing energy audit, whether you contact the cooperative and walk through A lot of times when we're talking, especially with the proactive high bills, we'll talk to a member, over the phone, and have the member actually go and cut off the appliance we're talking about, whether it be a water heater or a heating system. And then we'll go out to the meter, and, the meter does have a digital dial on it that goes around, scrolls through. So you can actually see it. When it slows down is good. When it's really, really fast, that's bad. So it's easy to go and look and get instant feedback, from that standpoint. But doing an energy audit and virtually is fantastic for a member. If they need a deeper dive, and we can go visit the home and try to give them recommendations, in the home.
All for free.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we mentioned how pesky those little water heaters can be. So, we've got some programs for that as well. We've got the, if you run into those repair problems, what does the H2O Select program do for members?
The Select is a electric water heater warranty program. So we're warranting that tank, from leaking, and $8 a month for 50-gallon tanks will take care of the service on the water heater. It's a 5-year agreement with us, and if the water heater does leak, you call us first, and we'll dispatch a plumber to the home to do the repairs, whether it be an element or thermostat out, or even if the water heater's leaking, we'll change the water heater out for you. And the cost of replacing an electric water heater now is, it's going way up, because it can range, like $1,200-$1,300 up to double that. So it's a lot of money depending on who's changing it out. Unless you do yourself, for like Micah, you change it out yourself.
Those things are heavy. Trying to pull one of those out of your house, I'm going to leave that to the professionals.
Yeah.
So, especially since mine's literally located right in the center of my home. So, not out in the garage like it would be nice and handy.
You don't trust your crimping.
No.
Making sure everything's tight, and it's going to not leak forever.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Well, Eddie, I was going to say my favorite program that you guys offer is the Smart Thermostat program. I am obsessed with my Ecobee, and tell us about that.
Yeah, the Ecobee or any smart thermostat, we have an array of even bring your own thermostat, program with us, and check on our website about different ones that we offer, Honeywell and Ecobee. But the smart thermostat, especially the Ecobee, that we're familiar with, and we sell those to our members, and if they put it in and agree to join our program and allow us to do some setbacks during the peak hours, that's very important to us, is to try to lower the cost of power during the peak hours.
For all of our
members. It's so important. And the thermostat will set back when you're away from the home. You're not even there, and it's actually providing energy savings for you. It can alert you if you have, like, say, for example, the electric resistive heat is running a lot longer than it did the previous year. Hey, you got a problem with your unit, or maybe you set it wrong. So it does a lot of features that helps you. It's an assistant. It's like a free assistant,
Reminds you to change.
It's an energy family member.
I was about to say, remind you to change your filter as
it
well.
It does. I actually changed my filters this weekend because I got an alert from my Ecobee, and I used the cheap filters. I did not buy the $15 filters. I bought a pack from Lowe's for a couple of bucks, and
yep, and that's good. We want the air to go through it, and not, a lot of times you'll actually get a talk about putting the very, very efficient, filters in, which slows the airflow. It does do a better job.
HEPA filters that sort of filter down to the microns of little germs and stuff.
But if you have like a house like Micah's, where behind that filter where it goes, the ducts go underneath the house, and there's holes in that ductwork on there.
Hopefully not anymore.
It's like almost a straw, and you're like, it's trying to pull, and it's pulling all that air from underneath the house and the dirt and everything. So we recommend the easy flow through filters.
Yeah,
and change them out when you need to.
Yeah, and I just change them when my thermostat tells me to. But it'll also alert you, the Ecobee, to air quality issues, whether it's high humidity or just something going on with the air quality. So it's a handy little tool. That's why.
For the new ones.
Yeah.
That we sell,
and
we offer.
Talking about filters in this old house, ran into that problem as well. Our upstairs air handler, the lines started freezing up because my daughter had blocked off the closet and had filter had not been changed for a good while, and
Yeah.
it got all choked up with dust, and then started causing some problems with the lines freezing, and then it started overflowing the drip pan, and next thing we know, we had a bubble in the ceiling where the water was pooling and coming through. So yeah, those couple dollar filters, it's important to change them. You don't, it's sort of out of sight, out of mind, but definitely one of those things that we recommend keeping up with, because simple little thing can lead to larger problems.
Yeah, and just in the like Mike was saying, in the summertime, when we have condensate, condensing all that moisture out of your home and then draining it out your house, it's very important to get that serviced and keep those units cleaned, for winter and summer use. But in summertime, it's very important to make sure those lines are clean and they're not clogging up and backing up and damaging your ceiling, or really causing you higher bills too.
Right.
So
yeah, and your neighborhood HVAC contractor would be happy to come out and inspect it and make sure everything's flowing and doing what it needs to do.
Well, I mean, we're talking about simple things, and then mentioned some things that can be a little bit more expensive, but the co-op will help out with that as well, because we touched on it a little bit. The Home Advantage loan program, we've got a couple of loan programs that are available for our members. So why don't you touch on those real quick and give us an overview of sort of what each one does.
Okay. With the Home Advantage loan program, of course, we've expanded that to the $20,000 limit at 5% interest for 10 years.
Yep.
So I get myself tripped up when I go five. But it's 10 years.
Yeah, 5, 10, 20.
5, 10, 20. And it's a great program because basically we're going to the home and doing a professional audit. We're actually testing the home for air leakage and identifying, writing a scope of work on, where is the air leaking the most. And we know when outside air just, leaks into the home, that's going to cause high bills, uncomfortable. It's going to be, everything's bad about that. So it's easy to get that repaired, with the blower door. And we'll do a test afterwards also. The contractor that's on our loan program for the Home Advantage, is vetted. They, have insurance, and we inspect their work, and we compare the bid to what was installed, and the member has to be satisfied with that work also. It's a complete package.
Yeah.
And we inspect it at the end, do a blower door test, make sure the home is tighter. So
and
it does work.
Most of our members are not HVAC experts, so it's such a gift to have an advocate for our members who can ensure the work that was supposed to be done has been done. You guys are an expert in these things, and it's really wonderful, the work that you guys do. If you're looking at installing solar on your rooftop or considering EV, give us a call. We can also help you with that. But Eddie, we've got a couple of minutes left in our show. Time flies when you're talking about light bulbs. But
Heating and air.
Yeah, I mean we've talked for almost 30 minutes now how hard you guys work for our members, but it doesn't stop with these programs. You're always looking ahead at how we can do more and be better. So what's coming up in the next 12 months for both Berkeley Electric and our power provider, Central Electric?
Yeah, we work very closely with our power provider, Central Electric Power Cooperative, and they provide the purchasing of the power and help with the delivery to all 20 cooperatives in South Carolina, or 19 cooperatives in South Carolina. And Central has applied for new era investments to try to add more capacity. We know that we need more generation capacity in South Carolina. We're growing, as you can see in our community.
Yeah.
It's growing like crazy. We're getting new industries. So how can we add more generation capacity, but also be good for the environment, be cleaner for the environment? And that's what we're the big grant that we've are receiving. It looks like we're going to receive these funding, to help us with that. So, whether it be solar PV, solar with batteries, helping support some nuclear power purchase.
Awesome.
So it's and then also it supports our use of the smart thermostats and everything on demand side controls with like a water heater load control. All those areas also. Even with controlling the charging of cars, for electric vehicles. So we're very interested in helping members with that area too.
Yeah. So that's $500 million in funding.
500 million, yes.
Federal funding, and it'll add 700 megawatts to the system.
That's the goal. Is add 700 megawatts of new generation.
Yeah.
So actually, Central's overall goal was over 1,000 megawatts, and they have secured some of that. So.
Okay. And we've got some grants in the pipeline.
We're applying for grants that are out there to help with the weatherization for our members, and maybe even put in a little bit of solar PV. So we'll see where the grants go from that standpoint. And of course, we got the funding for a home advantage loan program earlier.
Yeah.
We've talked about that sustains that program for many years to come. So we're all about trying to be financially responsible for our members, and then look for ways we can actually help with these grants to invest in members' homes for energy efficiency and for our environment, really.
Yeah.
Well, folks, that's a ton of information that we threw at you in 30 minutes or so. So we're going to let you get on with the rest of your day, and we thank you for tuning in to Power Talk. And this is the official broadcast of Berkeley Electric Cooperative. And always catch up on past episodes on streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple, and iHeartRadio, and get a behind-the-scenes look on Berkeley Electric's YouTube channel. So until next time, this is Power Talk, signing off.
WBEC, signing off.